I'm Holly McIntosh and I'm an artist and an aspiring tattoo artist and an art enthusiast altogether.
Hello, I'm Greta. My creative name is Psy100110 and I'm a photographer / image maker.
Okay, my name is Hannah and I do art at the Glasgow Clyde College. I do art.
I'm Kiva Cave and I'm a musician and a singer-songwriter.
My name's Tom. I'm from France.
So I'm Courtney and I'm a singer-songwriter and I'm in a band called Courtney.
Sorry. I'm Shannon Law and I'm an illustrator in Edinburgh College of Art.
I was taking pictures from a very young age. My parents started buying me cameras because I was like really into taking pictures and videos. But then got into, applied to college.
It's just something I've always done. As a kid I was very into like drama and musical theatre and doing that outside school and stuff like that. I was part of the choir in primary school.
So I got mostly into tattooing and art as a career though, through just drawing on everybody as a child growing up. Something I wanted to do. I love images on the skin, it's beautiful. Just love it.
I started like busking and just going to open mics more often and getting involved in the thing.
The thing that inspired me the most, I think, was growing up I used to watch a lot of Bob Ross and I would sit under the ironing board and just stare at him and giggle at his little happy little trees and stuff like that, so that really inspired me. Plus I had an artistic background, so.
Well, what I do is mainly inspired by Instagram and Instagram artists. All the trendy stuff. I kind of try to rip the trends a little bit, but like have a twist on it, because I think it's a big commentary on beauty standards and what is beautiful, what is cool. So in art, fashion, any creative expression. And so my art is very heavily influenced by Instagram artists.
I really like street art and just really colourful art and quite like patterns and ethnic and tribal kind of art as well, like primitive stuff from like cavemen, like Aboriginal art and stuff like that is really, really fascinating. But also like artists like Hundawasser, that's how you say his name. He's just awesome, like really, really colourful patterns and shapes and faces. So I should really getting into faces and kind of looking more at like African kind of style masks.
Some of my inspirations would be from, as I said, tattooing. One of my favourite current artists that I say on Instagram and social media a lot. Her name is Miriam Lupini and she is Swedish Congo, and she just travels the world doing tattoos, and she learned them really, really young, and she's been tattooing since she was about 16, and she's progressed so well. Her blending skills are fantastic. I feel like she keeps realism, fantasy, and really just keeps a strong tattoo style. It looks clean, it looks fresh, and it looks finished for one, and I really do appreciate that.
So when I was younger I used to listen to a lot of Taylor Swift, so I think that's the same for a lot of young female singer-songwriters at least. And also at the moment Ariana Grande, I'm really enjoying her new album, and I also really like this up-and-coming singer-songwriter called Jade Bird. She's really cool.
I don't know, just like, I guess like Instagram, like following artists and like photographers. I follow like a few like National Geographic photographers. So they take some really cool shots from like all over the world.
Well, inspiration mainly comes from visual mediums, technology, really. Other than that, I did dream series. Sometimes I just have like some very vivid dreams, and I try to capture them the kind of close as I can. can remodel that reality that my subconscious conceived.
The final piece is actually probably, it's kind of like got lots of mistakes in it, in the sense of something happens and then it kind of just happens in a good way, and I'm like, I like that. And then it keeps going. But yeah, so normally starts with an idea, some sketches, and then maybe I'll research some stuff, so look online for some images or some ideas, and then kind of fuse them together.
In general, inspiration for my songwriting comes from the people in my life. Pretty much I can take it from anywhere and everywhere. A lot of it though will come from family, friends, people I know, stories that they've lived through, kind of thing.
So I listen to a lot of music, and that sort of gets me in a frame of mind where I can just sit and think, and then after that I'll do some mood boards. So I'll pick up pictures and sounds and stuff and put them all into a document and use different colour palettes and see where that takes me. And then I do outlines first, and then I build up the base colours, and I like nature as well. I find it relaxing to go for walks. That usually makes me very inspired to do something.
I think my creative process evolved a lot, because I started as a self-portrait artist. So at first it was very much intuition based. It was very much just me and camera. It was very much ritualistic. So it was me getting ready, buying the props and putting the makeup on, and getting into a character, and basically just like, looking into myself like till I can no longer recognize myself. So that was very much sort of like some ritualistic, intuitive work. But now I started working with people, and that's a little bit different. So have to plan more for that, and sort of trying to communicate my vision to them, like trying to find that language, because with different people you need to communicate differently. So I work on mood boards just beforehand. I usually send people stuff I'm inspired by.
I normally have like an initial idea and then it completely changes. And the final piece is actually probably, it's kind of like got lots of mistakes in it, in the sense of something happens and then it kind of just happens in a good way, and I'm like, I like that. And then it keeps going. But yeah, so normally starts with an idea, some sketches, and then maybe I'll research some stuff, so look online for some images or some ideas, and then kind of fuse them together.
I'd say my process itself is pretty simple. I usually just sit down and start doodling or swirling, and then by a certain point I end up seeing an image, and depending on the image that comes through, I'll outline it and make it different from the background and put it together all together as a whole, and hopefully be able to see what I want it to look like by the time I'm finished with it.
So my creative process would kind of starts off roughly like with I have an idea in my mind, and that's where it will start, and I'll sit down with my guitar, and first I'll write a chord progression, come up with like the rhythm, but like the kind of the basic groundings for the song. Once I have that, I'll then start building a melody line, and on top of the melody then comes the lyrics, and the lyrics is the part that I like the best. That's where I like spend most of the time, is on the lyrics and what I'm going to say, and what words fit in with what notes and what melodic phrases and stuff like that, and what all that kind of thing. That's the bit that I like the best.
I start with the lyrics and the melody kind of at the same time, to be honest, and then I'll maybe pick up a guitar, or I'll maybe go to the band with just the lyrics and the melody, and then I'll say to them, can you get something for chords like over this, and then we eventually build the whole song, like kind of layer it up with bass, drums, and then we just rehearse it, and that's basically the finished song. So that's how it kind of happens.
Okay, Okay, so the piece I'm working on, it's I listened to the song and it gave me sort of this sort of flowing feeling of being up in the clouds, and it's quite a sad song but it's a bit more upbeat, so I wanted the colours to emulate that, so it's very relaxed pastel colours, but the facial expressions are quite saddened, so it's a mixture between happy and sad, and also along with Courtney's song I listened to things like The Cure and that to get that happy medium of happy, sad.
I used to be really self-conscious personally, overall in my body. I feel I might have started drawing women to become more confident with myself and to really, I think it was a stepping stone in accepting parts of myself. And I feel like all women should really just get to a certain point where even if they get anything, if they feel good with anything, just grab a hold of that and use it to try and get in a better place.
Well, after meeting Fnoof and his song made me think, like, it had a lot of religious connotations, but I knew the background, I knew the idea how behind the piece, and it was very like playful and kind of silly, but so it's sort of like it was technology, and also the way he creates his like stuff is pretty like could be very like electronic sounding, especially this piece. And so it was like in my head it was a lot like technology interrelated with religion.
It's called Please Wait, and it's about my electricity meter. And when you put the card back in, it says like press the button A, and then top it up, yes, and it says please wait, ... And that can like last for like 10 or 15 seconds. But then at that point, I'm perched on a few cardboard boxes, and it's quite uncomfortable, and I feel like, you know, those 15 seconds, like time is almost not frozen, but you're like, it's a very special moment that just belongs to my flat and like the situation.
So the song I've chosen for this collaboration is called Women, and Women is about a woman who has been in an abusive relationship, but it's and her experience throughout it and how she doesn't feel like she's being heard.
And I kind of came up with this woman saying, standing coming from a lotus, because like lotuses represent kind of hope and like coming through the dirt. But then when I actually spoke to Kate about it, and she said that it's actually about domestic abuse, and how women's voices aren't heard in that kind of area, I kind of felt like that was way too like nice and just like, I don't know, too nice basically. Just it wasn't gritty enough and grotesque to show like the actual pain of these women.
And the inspiration for the song comes from my mum, who's a solicitor, and she works in cases to do with domestic violence. She's what you would call a right old feminist, and it's pretty much inspired me to become a feminist as well, and that is inspired me to write this song and inspired me to use my talent with music and songwriting to make people aware of these situations and these things that are not so nice to talk about.
Inspiration usually comes from little bits of randomness in life. If I eavesdrop a little bit too much on someone's conversation and hear something I want to draw, or if I see someone doing art on the street, for example, and I just want to take it a wee bit further to myself, or I just see a funny shaped tree and I want to draw it and give it life. Honestly, it's a bit of everything, but I do really take heavy influence from the women's body. It's fantastic. I heavily love it. The shapes, the curves. It stands out overall, to be honest, to me.
Yeah, I guess that's the idea behind Psy, really, is just, you know, trying to understand identity.